If our desire to win is greater than our fear of losing, we'll win.
For that one chance, that one trip, the shot that you'll remember forever. Your town will remember, your school. Today is the day to put it all on the line. Today is the day to create those memories.
It is a short bus trip westward on I-69 from Saginaw here to East Lansing. The Trojans have brought their all-state power forward Draymond Green to the Breslin Center in the hopes of capturing the school's 4th ever state championship. In order to do that, they must get by the best player in the state. Manny Harris has won Mr. Basketball, led Detroit Redford to a city title, but lacks the state's largest prize of all, a Class A title ring. Tonight, he gets that opportunity at the Breslin Center against the Trojans from Saginaw, and he'll do it right here on FSN Detroit. Hi, everybody. Alongside my partner, our Pistons analyst, Greg Kelser. My name is Matt Shepard. Glad you could join us. This is the one that features the big dogs, and we could see a heck of a ball game, a track meet maybe.
Well, that's because both teams really like to get it up and down in the full court. And, of course, when you talk about Saginaw, maybe one of the best defensive teams, they score off of their defense.
Yeah, that is their staple, isn't it? That's the reason they're at this stage.
Absolutely. When they come out defensively, that is the concept that carries them. It's very consistent. It's durable. Here, they were able to pick off many passes in their semifinal win against Ann Arbor Pioneer. 15, in fact, on the way to collecting 21 turnovers. And their pressure sometimes looks subtle, as it does here. But the moment you think you've broken that pressure, that's when they're able to strike and go in transition and score a lot of easy buckets.
It's nothing new for the Trojans. Anyone who grows up in Saginaw realizes if you're going to play for Lou Dawkins, you're going to have to get back on the defensive end. So why would he expect anything else?
Saginaw High basketball is known nationally for our defensive efforts. With the talent that I have out there, it'll be unfair for us as coaches not to utilize that talent. I have size, quickness, intelligence, intelligent basketball players. So we will be defeating the purpose if we did not utilize that skill, and we try to use it to our greatness of it.
Well, he's done a pretty good job so far. He's given up just 55 points per game so far this season, but today he might have to outscore the Huskies because they are led by Manny Harris, who can flat out light it up.
He's a fine offensive player. However, in his semifinal win, he got trapped into a tempo control game against Warren De La Salle. Could not really display his talents. Won't have to worry about tempo control today. With this game being played in the full court, he'll have every opportunity to show us what he can do. Has a high game of 52 this year, had a 47 game in the tournament. He's going to have to be along those numbers, Matt, if they expect to pull the upset.
Big numbers all season long, almost 32 points, over 10 boards. He can dish the rock as well, and earlier this season against Saginaw, in a loss now, had 22 points. He told us yesterday, I can't wait to get another shot at the Trojans. He'll get that shot when we come back. We'll have the starting lineups and the opening jump. It's the Class A title tilt on FSN Detroit next. The MHSAA Basketball Finals on FSN Detroit are brought to you by Bell Tire. Trust us, we'll make you happy you came in, that's a promise. By Saturn, visit the all-new Saturn lineup at Saturn.com. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back at the Breslin Center in East Lansing, Michigan, home of the MSU Spartans and home to the state basketball championships for yet another season. This time, after two have been crowned, a third expected on this Saturday eve, either Saginaw or Detroit Redford. The Trojans 24-1 on the season, while the Huskies come in barking a 21-6 record on the year. And time to revisit the PA announcer here at the Breslin Center, Eric Olforseth, for the starting lineups for both clubs.
And the Trojans of Saginaw High School. for Redford. At forward, 5'11" sophomore, 11 DeMario Prince. For Saginaw High School, at forward, 6'2" senior, 44, Bobby Lewis. For Redford, at forward, 6'2" junior, 23, De Niro Cunningham. Saginaw, forward, 6'7", junior, 50, Draymond Green. For the Huskies at center, 6'7", junior, 34, Colin Horn. For the Trojans at center, 6'10", senior, 52, Josh Southern. For Detroit Redford at guard, 6'5", senior, number 3, Corperiel Harris. For Saginaw at guard, 6' junior, number 12, Daniel West. And for Redford at the other guard, 6' senior, number 4, Jerome Tyson. For Saginaw at guard, 6' sophomore, number 20, Mike Green. Head coach Detroit Redford, Ken Flowers. Head coach Saginaw High School, Lou Dawkins.
Ken Flowers in his second season as the head coach at Redford, once played there, has a sparkling record. What a thrill it would be for him in his second year to lead the Huskies to the title. And of course, same can be said for Lou Dawkins. Young coaches, man. Lou Dawkins in just his third year. Look at that, 71-7. Would love to make it 72 here today.
Very impressive. One of the many concerns for Detroit Redford besides Saginaw is the situation with their school. Shireen Saski has an explanation of what we mean. Shireen?
Thanks, Matt. Well, you know, Redford has a great reason to celebrate today. Last night, the Detroit School Board voted 6-5 not to close Redford High and more than 24 other schools in the Detroit public school system at the end of this academic year. Now, after the semifinals, the players talked about wanting to win one for Redford High to send the school out in style. Now they want to win one for Redford High and start a tradition. Guys?
Shireen, thanks. Winning is an emotional part of the game, too. And Saginaw talked earlier today under the guidance of Lou Dawkins on how to get it done and how they prepared for the rematch with Redford.
It's gut check time. It's about passion. It's about hard work. It's about giving us all your energy that you can give.
Time?
What time is it? Game time! 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 What time? Game time! What time? Game time! What time? Game time! What time? Game time!
It's now tip time for Class A, the state championship. It'll be Josh Southern and Manny Harris in the middle. The Trojans of Saginaw in their white uniforms trimmed in yellow and black. Detroit Redford, the Huskies, are red and scarlet and gray. Daniel West, the point guard for the Trojans. On the wing now, Mike Green. Green and West are cousins. He goes inside. Backing down is Southern. And our first whistle, a turnover against Saginaw. Here's the Wallside Windows road to the finals. Both clubs challenged at some points, but for the most part, breezed their way to this championship game.
Now Saginaw starts out with the pressure we talked about in the open. Full court pressure. And it will be paramount that Redford takes care of the basketball in breaking that pressure.
Manny Harris misfires on his first shot. Harris 4 of 16 in the semis yesterday. At the other end, a miss. Southern with a rebound, but he climbed over the back. And a foul against Saginaw.
Saginaw foul 52, Southern has first team foul.
You know, one of the other benefits of pressuring full court, it automatically quickens the pace of the game. And if you're not capable of playing at that fast pace, you're playing right into Saginaw's hands. Another quick shot by Redford, one and done. The rebound over to Saginaw.
No question the Trojans will have the advantage on the glass. They outboarded Ann Arbor Pioneer 34-31 in yesterday's semis. A fadeaway jumper from Daniel West, and no one has drawn any blood yet. Harris drew a triple to him and got it back to Costin.
Smart play that time. When Harris gave the basketball up, he didn't stand and watch. He kept moving, made a decisive cut right down the middle of the lane and got himself a layup.
This is Daniel West, the on-floor leader for this ball club. Also described by some as the team clown, but no clowning around in the state championship stage, that's for sure. Bothered by the best defensive player for the Huskies, Jerome Tyson, who wears 4 in red. Good box out on the part of the Huskies after the green miss. Demario Prince is the point guard for Redford, 5'10" sophomore. Harris rises for 3. And the rebound to Saginaw.
Well, you talked about Saginaw's rebounding prowess, their size advantage. You're going to need to take good shots if you're Redford. After you break that pressure, if you have to take a minute to get a good shot, take that minute, because it may be the only shot you're going to get on that sequence.
Weaving his way, going coast to coast, and a scoop shot for Jerome Tyson is short. Tied at 2 early on. Wide open is Bobby Lewis for 3.
Well, he's their defensive stopper, but he can also drain the wide open shot. Good floor spacing that time by Saginaw. They force you to have to guard a large area. Sometimes it can be very difficult to recover.
Prince to Harris. Overplayed by West. Allows Harris to go in with a highlight scoop shot.
Number 3, Harris.
Trojans 5, Manny Harris 4. Green lobs inside, a good catch, and now the easy finger roll for Josh Southern.
That's something that Saginaw will have as an advantage all day. If they're patient, can take care of it and work it inside, they're going to get high percentage shots, and they're going to get some fouls called on Redford.
Prince with a pull-up J. A little much. Southern fighting for the rebound. Saved nicely by West. Fast break for the Trojans, and the left-handed layup is down from Mike Green.
Number 29, Green.
Prince trying to split a double team. Tyson for 3. Off the mark. Southern with another board.
Wow, no patience at all by Redford, playing right into Saginaw's paws.
Southern had 8 rebounds, 4 offensive. There's a swipe by Harris. He'll take it in, draw a foul, but missed the shot and go to the line for 2.
You know, automatically there's going to be nerves and jitters in this game, but so far for Redford, it looks like Manny Harris is the one that has shaken those early jitters. That's a tough shot right there. Now with a chance to get the first 5 or 6 points of the game for Redford.
Harris converts the first free throw, where he went 5 of 6. And the Huskies' victory over Warren De La Salle, 56-50 in the semi. They were tested now by Warren De La Salle, who actually outshot him and made more field goals. The difference was the Huskies got to the free throw line 18 times compared to De La Salle's 2. Harris converts, and we have our first timeout. Saginaw leads by 3. It's 9-6. Manny Harris, Mr. Basketball from Detroit Redford, has all 6 points for the Huskies at the Breslin Center.
Welcome back to East Lansing, Michigan for the Class A state finals. Detroit Redford, the Huskies, playing with heavy hearts today. They have black bands on their jerseys that they have been wearing for the last month. A former teammate of theirs, Brandon Wolf, died of an asthma attack. This is a player that some of these guys on the team did play with their freshman year. It is something that has really brought the team together. They are honoring him throughout the rest of the season, hoping to win a championship for him in his memory today. Matt?
All right, Shireen, thank you very much. Yeah, this is a team that does an awful lot of things together. And memorizing their fallen teammate, good friend of theirs, more than one really, is one of the many things that they've chosen to do to honor him. They do a lot of different things off the floor together, and that's the reason that they've been successful so far this season. They've got 4 new players in there right now as Josh Southern goes inside, and an easy kiss off the window for Draymond Green. First time we've heard from the first-team All-Stater from Saginaw.
You can see the basic fundamental on the catch by the Saginaw big men. They keep it up high, so they're not going to allow Redford's smaller players to strip it down low. They do a nice job of keeping the ball above the heads.
Harris long on the shot, a tie-up inside, a jump ball, and the possession arrow in favor of Redford. A good job by Colin Horn, who wears 34 in red, the junior, to get in there and tie up Draymond Green.
You know, a couple of games ago, Redford went into a matchup with Osborne with the intention of slowing the game down. Ended up being 100 points scored by Redford. They engaged in the fast break game and got it done. I think in this game, though, Matt, it might behoove them to slow it down a little bit. I just don't think they have the depth, certainly not the size, to keep up with Saginaw.
Well, they do average 82 points per game in the playoffs so far for Ken Flowers' club, but during the season, you're right, they're more around the 70 point per game. The foul against Saginaw allows Colin Horn to go to the free throw line. Joey's getting in that chemistry lab. Didn't enjoy that first shot. Horn is a transfer from U of D. It took him a little while, Greg, to get used to the Detroit PSL. It's a very tough league, obviously. Not that the Catholic League isn't, but it is a different style, and sometimes there is some adaptation required as he converts the tail end.
Well, the thing that he does well, Horn, he blocks shots. He's a lane clogger, and he's much improved on his offensive game.
Very strong, too. Good move by Daniel West to break the pressure. A wide open 3 look from Bobby Lewis. Missed it. And another rebound for Josh Southern. West. Another 3 miss. West is open again. Thought about it. Instead, they'll go inside to Southern in the mid-post. Green can hit that long jumper, but he missed that one. 3 straight misses for the Trojans, but also 3 offensive rebounds.
Well, the rebounds that are high above the rim, you can understand Saginaw getting, but those long rebounds, the Redford guards with their quickness, they've got to get to those.
West doing a nice job of weaving his way into position. They'll go inside and kick it back outside. Tristan Calhoun inside. Green with the lane.
About 5 shots that time on that trip down the floor.
Pretty good ball movement on the part of the Trojans. They now lead it 13-7. And another miss for the Huskies. Manny Harris scraps for the rebound, forced it up, and drew a foul.
Here you can see the ball pressure being applied and realizing that he was doubled. The pass goes inside to Green, a good pass, and Green's not going to miss from point-blank range.
Thought he had a foul, too.
Yeah. Well, he was strong. He was able to play right through whatever contact was there.
Gets one more.
Harris converts the first free throw.
So far in this game, Redford, no problem breaking the press. The problem comes with their quick shots and their shot selection. I think if they move the basketball, trust their ball handling, they can put some pressure on Saginaw's half-court defense and maybe get a better shot.
Manny Harris with 8 of Redford's 9 points. Daniel West, who also played wide receiver on the Trojan football team. Draymond Green. And a traveling violation against the Trojans. Second one called here in the first.
Well, it's no surprise to see the big fella Green handling the ball outside. Coach Lou Dawkins says he's my point power forward.
We've seen it as a point guard. We've seen the 2 guard move over and run the basketball team at times. And a 3, but rarely do you ever see a power forward do that. Manny Harris kicked it inside. Southern came away with it. West with a nice hesitation. Another look for Lewis. Short Green is there to knock up.
They are dominating in the paint right now. Countless offensive rebounds right now. Right now, at times, the missed shot is their best offense, Saginaw. They throw it up, and that's when they go to work off the offensive window.
Bobby Lewis gets a breather, and into the ball game is John Edwards. Check that. It's Courtney Washington, number 30, the 6'2" junior. Edwards has it on the baseline to Green, and he's fouled from behind by Colin Horn. Not even close on the glass, like you were saying.
That's the story of the game right now. You know, Coach Ken Flowers over there says we're a better team than the team that Saginaw played back in December. Obviously, a lot of players have improved, but the fact remains you're playing a team that's far stronger, more depth,
and larger. Nice lay-in for Deontay Wesley. He's checked in for Josh Southern. You don't lose a whole lot. You gain some bulk, but you lose a couple of inches. But he cashed in immediately. 8-point lead for the Trojans. Harris is being bothered by Edwards.
Look at the pressure on Harris.
And a nice look by Harris. Beautiful dish to Dante Walker, who laid it up and in.
They certainly have respect for Harris. They're double teaming him well out on the floor, but that time he kept his head up and made a smart pass and got an easy bucket for Redford.
Green with great penetration and a dish to Wesley. And Wesley comes in and 2 quick buckets off the bench for the Trojans. Walker with a drive and a finger roll that's short. Harris fighting for the board. Green comes with it. He'll lead the break. But time runs out. The big fellas for the Trojans work on their dribbling as much as the backcourt, according to Lou Dawkins. And a big reason why the Trojans are up early on. Look at the feed from the power forward. It's 19-11 Saginaw. Saginaw with almost as many offensive rebounds as total rebounds for Redford.
Well, that is certainly an issue right now for Redford. They're allowing Saginaw's big people, Southern there, Green at times, to camp out underneath. They've got big, strong hands, soft hands. They're able to get the ball. They're not going to be stripped. So that is an area where there has to be vast improvement right now from Redford if they're to stay in this game.
And Draymond Green with 6 points, 3 boards. He's only missed a couple of shots. He also has 2 assists, by the way. Led everybody in the victory over Redford earlier this season with 29. Daniel West goes to work for the Trojans, who lead by 8 and are dominating in the paint. Look at that. All but 3 of their points have come from within inside the shaded area.
I'll give them credit. They have been smart, disciplined to get it inside, and their big guys are constantly going to the glass, so they're taking advantage of their height advantage right now.
It's the matchup just before Christmas. Another easy lay-in for Deontay Wesley, who has a half dozen early on. Manny Harris and Redford were quick to point out, we thought we were fatigued in that game on December 23rd. That's why we look forward to the rematch. But how about the pressure D by the Trojans? They're all over it. And they forced another turnover.
Here's the quick inbounds play. It goes inside right there to Draymond Green. He gives it up immediately to Bobby Lewis, and that's an easy down to Wesley for an easy basket, another easy basket.
3 assists for the All-State first-team member who wears 50 in white. West on the wing, trying to force feed Green. It's kicked out of bounds. Josh Southern back in, and Deontay Wesley will sit down, going 3 for 3 from the floor.
They go out with 6'8". They come in with 6'9".
Green on a post-up. Southern not afraid of the 3-ball. In and out. Green with a follow-up. They're going to wave it away and call foul against Saginaw. Tristan Calhoun will pick up the personal foul. This is 3 of a quadruple header of MHSA Basketball State Championship action here on FSN Detroit. The Class B final comes your way next. Country Day against East Grand Rapids. Hope you can join. Greg Kelser, Shireen Saski, and myself. Harris takes it right at the rack with a left hand. Pretty.
Basket by number 3.
He's making good decisions when he's able to catch the basketball. They're putting so much pressure on him and limiting Harris's touches.
He has 10 now. Southern in the mid-post. Good ball fake and penetration and a drop for Courtney Washington.
Comes off the bench as a shooter.
Harris with a drive and a pull-up, tried to lay it inside, and it's knocked away by Draymond Green. Blocking foul will go against Redford, allowing Bobby Lewis to go to the line.
Here a moment ago with extra pressure on the basketball, they're able to find Harris right at the top of the key, and again he makes a nice decision and finishes with that left hand. He has 10 of their 13 points, and as I said, right now all of their confidence lies within number 3. Everyone else has got to pick it up, otherwise this thing can get away quickly from Redford.
Bobby Lewis cooking at the line with another make. Manny Harris, some think, is actually underrated. They thought he should have been in All-American. His coaching staff told us yesterday he outplayed a lot of the kids in the All-American game a year ago and deserved to have that type of stature coming into this season, but felt he was overlooked a little bit. Was recruited by Pitt, UCLA, but verbally committed to the University of Michigan. Right now his club is on the downside of a 12-4 Saginaw run. They need the 3 ball from Cunningham, and they got it.
Very nice. Swinging the basketball and doing it quickly, spreading the floor. That time, Saginaw's suffocating defense could not recover in time.
Near steal by Harris. Green. Southern, they'll hand off. This is DeMario Wilson. Green backs his way down. He's tough to stop, isn't he?
He's very tough. Post really large, and they're calling for the basketball.
Harris leads the break. Lays it off, but an offensive foul. Oh, they're going to call the block. It's going to be a blocking call against Mike Green.
Here comes Harris with the basketball, negotiating here, putting it behind his back, getting into that painted area, and you can see that's the correct call. Green never was set. Attacking and doing it smartly that time, and the correct call to be sure.
So Redford trailing by 9 will inbound with about 5.5 to go. Cunningham, another 3 ball. This one short. Southern with another rebound, his 5th of the game already. Draymond Green, he can handle it, no question about it, with either hand. Goes inside, turning, leaning, and making, with a foul coming, Bobby Lewis. Well, so much for that label of defensive stopper. He's been dynamite at both ends.
Lewis is 6 feet 2 inches tall, but with that size, girth, and strength, he might as well be 6'8". This is a big, strong, tough post-up right there. Nothing that number 20, Jonte Walker, could do to stop him.
Bobby Lewis is the kid that welcomes everybody to his house and to his car. Usually uses his 1996 Ford Explorer to pick everybody up and take them to school, take them to practice, and they just enjoy each other's company so much. And he's kind of the trigger guy. He's the guy in charge of it all.
Probably does the cooking too. Says he wants to be a chef when he grows up. How about that?
He can cook us lunch. We're pretty hungry right now.
It'll work.
Another steal for him. Lewis leads the break. Nice move behind the back. Saginaw slows it down. Now they go inside. Lewis couldn't hang on to it. It's stolen now by Cyrus Walker. Tried to hit Harris, knocked away by Southern, who stepped out of bounds. It'll be Redford ball.
Redford, number 34.
Colin Horn is back in for the Huskies, as is Jerome Tyson. Anthony Bell and Cyrus Walker will sit down. Walker was great in the PSL playoffs. Bad shot from Jerome Tyson. Leads to a Trojans fast break. From the corner. In and out. They fight for the rebound, and stepping out of bounds was Robert Clark.
Over there on the sideline, Redford coach Ken Flowers screaming. He's very demonstrative at his team. I don't think he liked that shot selection, knowing that a quick shot, a poor shot, it's like a turnover because they're going to rebound it and they're going to run on you off of it with numbers.
Clark with a steal. Nice lay-in for West, who lays it up and in. So Bobby Lewis, check that. Bobby Lewis in double figures already. Had 9 in the semifinal win. Harris sneaks by him. Takes it all the way to the rack. Circus shot missed, but a foul and 2 shots coming.
Trojan foul 20.
All right, Matt, right now, Saginaw coach Lou Dawkins shuttling players in and out. No reason for any player out on the floor to try to save anything. You know, you can go out there and play till you're totally exhausted because he's going to bring a fresh body back in and the pressure will never cease. And that's what Redford is facing right now. Dawkins says his toughest challenge in practice is deciding how to dole out the minutes because everybody works so hard. They all deserve to start and play.
Yeah, he actually says that his reserves make his first unit so much better, and it's a big reason why he relies so heavily on his reserves. He loves giving them floor time because he says they deserve it every day in practice by making those starters work as hard as they do. His club's playing well when his reserves are playing well, and right now they are.
As you can see, Harris is having a decent game. 11 points already, 12 points already in this first half. So he's not being hampered the way he was in the slowdown game against Warren De La Salle. Problem for Redford, though, he's the only one. His teammates have not got it in gear yet.
Lewis with another in the paint bucket for the Trojans. Bobby Lewis has been dominant inside, and you know what? Credit to the guards for the Trojans who found him. This is DeMario Prince, and now Manny Harris. Harris takes it right at Lewis, leans in, Southern blocked the shot.
By standing there tall with his hands up, he let the defense come to him, and he made the rejection.
West to an open Lewis for 3. Southern with a rebound and cleanup.
They're dominant. They have established control of the paint, both ends of the floor.
We talked in the open that Saginaw's staple is their defense. It leads to offense. Robert Clark with an easy steal. The Trojans with an easy bucket, and they lead 33-18. Back to action. Manny Harris fouled before the shot. Harris, the lone bright spot right now for Redford. Plenty of bright spots for Lou Dawkins' Saginaw Trojans, though, Greg.
Well, right now they're not counting on just one guy. Redford is going solely on the strength of Manny Harris standing on the line right now, shooting for points 13 and 14. Whereas Saginaw, you don't know where it's coming from. Their bigs are playing their role, playing large, playing strong. Their smaller guys are handling the basketball, not turning it over. And the pressure that they have applied to Redford has been relentless.
Harris now 8 for 8 from the stripe. Make it 9 for 9. 33-20. Saginaw in front, and they have led throughout with 3 minutes left to go in the opening half. Ken Flowers, a look of concern, that's for sure.
Well, he has to hope that they can get to the halftime locker room without too much more damage. You know, the last thing they can afford right now is a surge by Saginaw that would kick this lead up any higher and have to play from behind against a team this good in the second half.
Daniel West with a drive and a scoop, missed it. Colin Horn with a rebound. Prince, a little water bug out there on the floor. Harris against Lewis. Harris said he can't check me. He told us that yesterday.
Yes,
he said he's a good defensive player.
Yes,
but
he
can't check it.
He stayed in front that time, forced him to give it up.
Foul. Here we go against Detroit. No, it's going to go against Redford. It's going to go against Jerome Tyson on an offensive charge. Second.
Bobby Lewis showed me something that time. He got down and dirty with the D. That was like one-on-one for a moment there.
This is Draymond Green. Feeds Clark, stolen by Harris.
Harris shows that he too can play a little D. But he's trying to do too much now, Matt.
Green at the other end, just off his fingertips.
You know, even when you're the guy having the most success out there and everybody else is struggling, you still have to show confidence in your teammates, get them the basketball, and hope that they'll eventually come around. Right now, Harris may be taking too much of the load on his shoulder.
Under 2 minutes to go in the half now. Tyson got Southern up in the air. Prince with a pull-up jumper from 15, rimmed out. Southern with another, where he just owns the glass.
Yeah, not many offensive rebounds for the Redford Huskies of yet.
8 rebounds for Josh Southern, who wears 52 in white. Green drops home, a raindrop from the top of the key.
450, Raymond Green.
16-point bulge now for the Trojans. Green has 8 of them. Horn. Clark got a piece of the ball, but a piece of the body, too.
That was a good foul.
Stay with us at the half, because we'll visit with the executive director of the Michigan High School Athletic Association, Jack Roberts. Shireen Saski will talk with both coaches on what they need to do to finish up in the second half, and Greg Kelser will break down the first half stats and highlights between Redford and Saginaw.
For Redford, 20, Dante Walker. For Cunningham.
De Niro Cunningham out. Dante Walker is in for Redford. Horn splits the pair.
You know, when I spoke with Ken Flowers earlier today, I asked him, Coach, what is your major concern with Saginaw? He says their size, and we're seeing why right now. That size has been daunting.
No question. It's been intimidating. Manny Harris not intimidated inside, had it stripped out of his hands, but it rolled out of bounds off the Trojans. It is a fine line for a quote-unquote high school superstar. When you're going well, you want to stay in that groove and help your team. On the other hand, you want to make sure everybody else doesn't get too cold.
Yeah.
Job by Saginaw to deny the ball to Harris, and a traveling violation against Redford. Sometimes working without the ball is as daunting a task against this Saginaw defense as anything else. Green, nice crossover, and a steal by Prince. Harris went right to the glass and laid it out. He timed that perfectly, didn't he?
That was an assist. That was intentional. I don't think he was trying to shoot that. I think he was trying to throw it off the glass for the trailing Harris.
And stepping out of bounds was Daniel West. .13-point lead for the Trojans. Walker is out and De Niro Cunningham in. This is your typical offense for defensive substitution by Ken Flowers. Prince, great penetration. Off the glass though, Horn with a rebound. Harris for 3. Bingo!
Nice. Nicely done. Get it back to 10, and momentum perhaps going to the halftime locker room for Redford.
Almost went down from Daniel West. A 3/4 court shot. Saginaw did an awful lot right. But a little bit of a run by the Huskies at the end cuts the Trojans' lead to 10. Head coach Lou Dawkins is with our own Shireen Saski. Shireen?
Thanks, Matt. Well, Coach, you have the 10-point lead going into the locker room. How happy are you with your team's play?
I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. We just gave them 6 points, mainly because we're out there reaching. We have to utilize our footwork and stay in front of the basketball. We let Manny Harris do too much.
How do you contain him then?
We just got to keep playing. He's eventually going to get tired because I'm going to keep running my troops at him.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Matt?
All right, Shireen, thank you very much. Saginaw shot well from the floor, played fantastic defense. Manny Harris
the lone bright spot for the Huskies. He did get him to within 10 as we hit the break. It's Saginaw 36, Redford 26. Halftime rolls out for the Residence Center after this.
This Class A championship game has kind of gone according to plan. At least it's kind of turned out the way most of us expected. Not necessarily on the scoreboard with the Trojans leading the Huskies by 10, but the way these two teams have played. Welcome back to the Breslin Center alongside Greg Kelser. My name is Matt Shepard. At the outset of tonight's broadcast, we talked about Saginaw's defense and we talked about Redford's Manny Harris. Those are the two things that have stood out so far in the first 16 minutes of play.
Well, Harris has carried the Redford Huskies. He's doing everything he can to keep them in this game against this vaunted Saginaw pressure. Now, the thing you have to do if you're Redford, you've got to anticipate that a second or even a third man is coming. Get rid of the basketball as soon as you possibly can. It is very difficult to dribble a basketball when you're being harassed like that. And as we told you, Saginaw very good at turning that defense and those steals into instant offense. Right now, they've got 28 points in the paint off of offensive rebounds and steals and easy transition buckets.
Now, Saginaw has forced 9 turnovers, but they've also cost it up 9 times, and they haven't been able to stop Manny Harris, who leads everybody right now with 19.
Well, I'm really impressed with him. We talked about him being able to take advantage of this open court opportunity after the half-court game that was put on him in their semifinal. He's getting inside, he's knocking down jumpers, he's trying to get his teammates involved, making really good decisions, but he is going to need help if Redford is to make the comeback and get over the top in the second half.
5 for 10 shooting from Manny Harris, but Saginaw right now is shooting 57% in the ballgame. A main reason why they lead by 10. When we come back, we'll talk with Jack Roberts, the MHSAA Executive Director, about the state of sports in the great state of Michigan. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We played half of the Class A state championship here at the Breslin Center. Saginaw's Trojans lead the Huskies of Detroit Redford 36-26. Welcome back. My name is Matt Shepard. Proud to be joined now by the MHSAA Executive Director, Jack Roberts. Pretty exciting first half, don't you think?
It has been some outstanding talent, and I look forward to the second half very much.
Yeah, the beauty of basketball and all the sports that you help represent in this great state is most of the sportsmanship that we see on a nightly basis has been pretty positive, but recently there has been some, dare I say, legislation about some of the negative stands, cheering, and things of that nature. What's going on there?
Well, out in Washington State, a headline indicated that they were going to ban booing, and this became a national story on all the talk shows and all the newspapers. But actually, I wasn't displeased to see the talk because it allowed us to focus on what kind of conduct is satisfactory in school sports, allowed us to talk about connecting the mission of school sports with the behavior at school sports. So while booing will never be banned, it was good to have some discussion about it. And I continue to think if it's inappropriate at some sports, maybe it ought to be inappropriate at other sports. In most of our tournaments, there is no booing at all. So you got to ask yourself, why do we see it once in a while in some tournaments?
But there are other ways to create good sportsmanship, and I think it comes from the coaches, it comes from teachers, right?
It does, and we provide annual sportsmanship summits that are very important, where the students themselves participate in establishing the standards that they want to enforce, and that's been very successful. It has to be comprehensive, but working with the students directly is part of the answer.
Don't you think the fans kind of get their cues really from the coaches and the players who are participating in the event?
They do, and they also get it from what they see on television from other levels of sports. So we work against that, but we also want to work at just whatever happens elsewhere. We want here in school sports to be representative of the best of what you would expect in educational athletics.
Give us an update on the sports seasons litigation at the U.S. Supreme Court level again for us.
We expect to hear from the Supreme Court in the first week of April, maybe as early as the first day of the work week in April, and we'll hear either that they are going to take our case or that they are not going to take the case, in which case the seasons will change. We might hear from them that they're going to put our case aside while they consider some other related cases.
Another year at the Breslin Center and another great crowd, not only for this one, but you had some for a couple of the early games. You expect one for Class B, right?
We do. This has been a good venue for us, good crowds this year. Pleased to have you here as well.
Well, we're glad to be here, of course, and We saw great crowds at the Palace for the wrestling tournament. I know the hockey tournament in Plymouth drew great crowds, and at Ford Field too. We really have the best of both worlds, if you will. You got some great facilities in which people to draw, don't you?
We do, and we're very pleased that we can attract people from all over the states, small towns, large towns, that can come together in an arena such as this.
Jack, thanks as always. We appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Jack Roberts, who joined us earlier this season at halftime of one of the football state championships, joining us here at halftime of the Class A state championship game here between Saginaw and Redford. It's 36-26 when we come back. We'll look at the first half highlights and the stats with Greg Kelser. You're watching FSN Detroit.
Redford shoots 30.5% in the first half. They trail by 10. How does Ken Flowers' club get back in this one? Well, he's got that answer for Shireen Saski. Shireen?
Thanks, Matt. Well, Manny Harris has 19 points in the game thus far, Coach, but how do you get a more balanced scoring attack out there?
Well, we just got to get the other guys in the game more. Other guys start to defer to him a little bit too much. Other guys got to step up for us. You know, we just got to stop Draymond and other big guys, and it's going to be a different second half for us.
What is the toughest challenge Saginaw poses right now?
I didn't hear him.
What is the toughest challenge Saginaw is posing your team right now?
If they size. You got to block out and rebound better. You know, we just got to have some toughness this second half.
What did you tell your team during halftime?
Just got to leave it on the floor. You know, last game of the year and tomorrow. Is it now or never?
How do you get that done?
Huh?
How do you get that done?
Just got to, like I say, got to rebound more, man. They are kicking our tail on the glass. Just got to have some guts, man. Just go out there and do it.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck. Matt?
All right, Shireen, thank you. High school game officials are making the right call through Officials for Kids. It's a partnership between the MHSAA and Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Officials for Kids is a fundraising effort committed to helping improve children's health care across the state of Michigan. For more information about Officials for Kids, visit the officials page at MHSAA.com. That's MHSAA.com. Another good-sized crowd here for the Class A championship game. Saginaw's all fired up. They're a half away from celebrating a state title. They lead by 10. Greg Kelser's thoughts when we return to the Breslin Center after this. Saginaw's 57% shooting allows them to build a 10-point halftime lead over Redford here at the Breslin Center. Coming April 15th to FSN Detroit. It's the next edition of MHSAA Magazine. It's a seasonal recap of state finals competition, highlighting the team and the individual champions in all sports. The winter edition of MHSAA Magazine premieres Sunday, April 15th at 5, and only here on FSN Detroit. Time now to take a look at our halftime stats as presented by Bell Tire.
Well, you've got Saginaw, by virtue of getting the ball inside repeatedly, shooting a whopping 57% to 30 for Redford. Free throws, 10 of 12 for Redford, 8 of 8 from one guy, Manny Harris. Points in the paint, huge advantage for Saginaw. You know, I want to add one thing to what Coach Ken Flowers said. Yeah, they've got to be tougher. They've got to rebound. They've got to shake themselves of the jitters. But they've got to have better shot selection. They cannot come down and continually throw up quick shots because they're not getting second shot opportunities, and those quick shots are fueling the fake fast break attempt or attack, that is, by Saginaw.
Well, I'm sure he said that at halftime, but what else did he say? Our cameras were rolling when he talked to his club.
One thing about basketball is two halves, okay? They had their run, now it's ours, okay?
Need to be poised with the basketball. One of his many keys to victory here today. They had 9 turnovers, but they did get a big first half from Manny Harris.
He saved them. They're fortunate to be down by just 10. That 6-0 run to end the first half, to the chagrin of Coach Lou Dawkins of Saginaw. But the pressure that Redford had to face in the first half, it's going to continue, to be sure.
Saginaw outboarded Redford just by 3. That's shocking to me. I thought it was a lot more than that.
It certainly seemed like it.
It did, yeah. The big fellas inside, just tough to handle right now, but Redford has a half of basketball to go. It's DeMario Prince. And now on the wing, Jerome Tyson for 3. His first bucket of the night. And the first from the backcourt for Redford. They were 0 for 8 combined from Prince and Tyson. And Tyson breaks that drought.
They're back in this game, keyed by a 9-0 surge carrying over from the first half. You know, Matt, I've played in big games. Jitters, nervousness, that's all a part of it. But you at some point, as a player in a game like this, have to really relish the opportunity, embrace it, and you got to shake free of that and play loose. And hopefully that's what Redford is looking to do here in the second half.
Off the inbound, Green for two. His foot was on the line. Otherwise, the big fella would have drained a triple instead. He hits the two-point bucket. It's 38-29. Green with a good job moving his feet to force that double team. Another three ball. This one's off the mark from De Niro Cunningham. Manny Harris with an offensive rebound. And then the steal.
They swarm so much, it at times feels like there's 6 or 7 Trojans out there.
Southern down low, tied up and stolen. They're going to call the jump ball and the possession arrow in favor of Saginaw.
That's something that Saginaw has not been guilty of much in this game, bringing it down by a big fella, making it available for a tie-up or a steal from a smaller player.
Lewis on the wing, goes inside to Green, right back to Lewis. They'll play a little catch. Look at Green post up, stay with it. Harris, though, went in there and grabbed the rebound. He was defending Draymond Green. Numbers for the Huskies. Tyson from 16. Yes!
Nice. Tyson looks to be finding a rhythm, a confidence. That's 2 baskets for him, helping Redford to stay in this game, stay within reach.
His nickname is JT Money, and he's been money the last couple of trips down. Green, nice lob inside. Southern stuffed by Harris and out of bounds. It'll be Redford ball, too.
A moment ago, Redford attacked with intelligence. The pass quickly over from Winston, and there is Tyson sizing it up for his second J of this early third quarter.
Momentum is such an important thing to have, and Redford had it going into the locker room, and they picked it right back up here in the third. Tyson for 3. Couldn't make it 3 in a row. Prince snuck in there. Thought he had the rebound, out of bounds, off Saginaw.
I think you can see that toughness that Ken Flowers was talking about when he challenged his team at halftime, because they are a different looking bunch right now.
Tristan Calhoun is into the ball game. Mike Green is out for the Trojans. Harris, nice feed inside. Prince to Tyson. Penetration, had it stuffed. Harris is there to help out, and a foul call.
Saginaw foul. 34 Lewis, his second first team foul.
Well, stepping to the line right now is Manny Harris, who is yet to miss a free throw in this game. He's 8 of 8, a chance to pull his team even closer. It looked like for a moment when they were up 16 points that Saginaw would cruise to victory. But things have changed, and I'd say quite dramatically.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to run him right out of the gym. Speaking of gym, this guy right here, a gym rat. Spends all kinds of time in the gym, and a good student too, Greg. He's a 3.2 GPA and has brought his club to within 5, closest they've been since early on in the first quarter. Draymond Green, that's too easy.
Yeah. They never were able to close in on him, and he got near point-blank range before releasing with a very soft touch. Ball crawling over the front of the rim.
And it's easy for me to say you've got to take that charge, but he's 6'7", 220, folks.
Number 34, Colin Horn, thought about it and then said, I know, you go ahead and take those, big fella.
Harris will pull it out. And a reaching foul against Bobby Lewis.
Watch number 34, red jersey, that's Colin Horn. Could have stepped in there and taken that charge from the big truck that is Draymond Green. Thought better of it. Green gets the easy 2.
Third personal foul on Bobby Lewis. He's forced to sit down. Trojans will counter with Mike Powell, a 6-foot senior. Tyson will penetrate and dish. Good rotation. Prince is open for 3.
Oh, Prince was hitting those shots in the semifinal win. Could have used that one.
Yeah, had 11 in that semifinal win yesterday. Green running the floor, had it stuffed. He got another chance at it, rimmed off. Southern blocked by Harris, and a foul against Red inside. Boy, that twin tower tandem of Green and Southern.
Southern's 245 pounds. You're not going to push him out of there. He is just so big, imposing, strong. And again, keeping the ball up high, playing to his advantage on the offensive glass.
You wonder how they lost it all this season. They lost just once. It was to Saginaw Arthur Hill. And the Trojans wanted a rematch, and they got it and beat them not long after that setback. So the one blemish has really been taken care of.
Beat them twice, in fact. Got them in the tournament as well.
Good point. Southern, double-digit rebounds right now. 2 more than he had yesterday. 6 points. And it is an 8-point Trojan advantage. Prince was pushed out of bounds by Tristan Calhoun. Calhoun, a legitimate 6'5" wingman who has a 7-foot wingspan. So that's why they like to have him patrolling the baseline down there. He'll now sit down, and Robert Clark will check in.
Against this pressure, remember, you see the double coming, get rid of it immediately.
Harris against Clark. Pretty shot.
He did that all on his own. He can get a shot for himself. He can get the separation with his ball handling necessary to get that jumper off.
He's got 24 now, Greg. A lot of people who saw Manny Harris for the first time yesterday were unimpressed with his 14-point performance. Went 4 of 16 against that zone defense. But you know what? You got to change your tune after watching him here today against what's considered one of the best defensive teams in the state. Green inside to Southern, and a timeout for Saginaw. Something that Lou Dawkins doesn't like.
Saginaw timeout. 30-second timeout.
Check out Manny Harris right here, one-on-one against Robert Clark. Clark right there in front, but the separation because of the ball handling ability. Look at this. And the elevation, the perfect release on the shot, the rotations there. Count it.
The winner of this one gets the state class championship from the A level. Class D was won by Cedarville thanks to a record 11 three-pointers made. Bath made 10 in their upset win over Saginaw Novell, the first for Bath in Class C since the 1960 campaign. Congratulations to really all 4 teams that advanced to this championship Saturday. And later on tonight at 8 o'clock right here on FSN Detroit, it's the Class B title tilt between Country Day and East Grand Rapids, who won the Division III state football championship with many of the same cast of characters.
That's never a bad thing when you come into this situation. You got guys who are used to winning in big games.
Good pump fake by Green. Green just a junior, remember. Verbally committed to Kentucky. Prince.
With the coaching change looming at Kentucky, a lot of calls coming Green's way, wondering if he's still going to honor that commitment and promise.
Southern called for the foul inside. Colin Horn goes back to the free throw line for the second time tonight. They're actually giving it to Draymond Green, so he'll get the personal foul. That's his second. 8-point lead for the Trojans.
54% free throw shooter. Horn on the line. Big free throws, though, because this keeps this thing within reach. And I think especially for young guys, when you're looking up at that scoreboard and you're seeing yourself only down by a few, you're not intimidated by that. Give Redford credit, because when they were looking up, seeing themselves down by 16 and nothing going right, they could have easily have wilted.
Difference is now just 7. Daniel West can handle the basketball, that's for sure. A 3-ball from the corner. Nope, they're going to call it 2. Mike Powell thought he had 3. Instead, his right toe was on the line. Penetration and a blocking foul will be called, I believe, against Josh Southern, as Jerome Tyson showed no fear taking it inside.
Boy, if Tyson weren't just 6 feet tall, I would have thought he was going to dunk this, because he went up elevating like he was certainly thinking about turning it over on someone. Southern in there trying to get the charge. He gets the foul.
Tyson misses the first free throw. Went 4 for 6 from the line in a 13.3 rebound, 3-steal effort yesterday. Missed the second as well. Huskies hurting themselves at the stripe.
Right. They're getting there. Give them credit. They are getting to the free throw line, but you have got to cash them in. Your margin of error is slim.
Trail by 9. Southern on a post-up. Short. Easy rebound for Tyson. And timeout Redford. We've got 2:41 left to go in the third quarter. Saginaw led by 10 at the break. They're up by 9 right now, 45-36.
Saginaw leading by 9 here in East Lansing in the Class A final. You know, the Saginaw really trying to get a little swagger at the beginning of this season. And Josh Southern told me this swagger was something they talked about early on in the year. They wanted to be poised. They wanted to go out there, get that swagger early and carry it on throughout the season. He told me the source for this was Coach Dawkins. The players have fed off of their head coach because of his calmness, his confidence, and his positive attitude throughout, and it has really rubbed off on the guys. Matt?
Absolutely. One of their sayings this year, Shireen, is with interest. In other words, they want to pay back everybody for missing out on an opportunity what they felt they had a year ago. So they planned it with interest to try and win the state championship this year. Look at the points in the paint. I mean, Saginaw is making a living in there. They've got 45 on the board, and 32 have come from inside the paint. Southern and Green have 20 points and 15 boards combined on 9 of 17 shooting. It's getting it done. Manny Harris for 3. Bad miss. Easy board inside, and we've got ourselves a foul against the Trojans inside again. It's Mike Powell.
That's his first 16 foul.
Allows Dante Walker to go to the free throw line. Walker's nickname is Keel.
Walker, 2.
Is what?
Keel. K-I-L-L.
What I thought you said.
Got a killer crossover. Killer defender.
Number 12, Cyrus Walker.
And is so fundamentally sound. Cyrus Walker into the ball game. Interesting story about Cyrus Walker. He was shot in the shoulder 2 years ago. He was getting a haircut at his friend's house and was shot in the shoulder. But it didn't kill his spirit, that's for sure. He worked hard at rehabbing and is back playing basketball, the game he loves, and with the guys he loves. That's
thankfully.
Right. 45-38. Saginaw in front. Dan West picked up the dribble a little early. Got it up ahead, though, to Mike Powell. They try to go inside to Southern, knocked out of bounds. Courtney Washington is fresh for the Trojans. He'll spell Mike Powell. Green popped out for a 3 look, made him pay.
Wow. Green does everything seemingly without a lot of effort. I mean, he walked over, got his position on the floor, shot it with ease, nothing but the bottom of the net. He is impressive. And just a junior, as you indicated.
Good hustle by Cyrus Walker, who almost went all the way up to the concession stand.
Boy, look at Walker. Chase this rebound down and out of the building practically.
Harris leans in, wanted a foul, didn't get it. Here comes a fast break for the Trojans. To the trailer, Green, and he's fouled by Prince.
Careful now if you're Redford. You're starting to fade again here, playing again into the hands. There's the foul to stop the break.
At the line.
Shots must be good shots. you know, when they were spacing the floor to start this half, and were able to get a couple of nice, comfortable jump shots for Jerome Tyson, I thought they were on to something, but they've gone away from that, and their shots now are the tough variety. All contested, and as I said, those shots are like turnovers, and those can be deadly against a team like Saginaw, which can turn and run in a second.
Anthony Bell replaces Demario Prince. Draymond Green tries to salvage one of the 2 free throws. Nice kid, met him yesterday, down to earth.
Says his favorite player is Carmelo Anthony. He's got some Carmelo Anthony in him.
He plays like Zach Randolph.
Oh, he's got range, that's for sure. I'm really impressed with his touch from the outside.
Walker. Tyson for 3. In and out. Rebound popped off the glass. Last touched by Redford, who won the Detroit PSL at 9-3. Saginaw, in the meantime, swept through the Saginaw Valley at 10-0. Washington. And a little bumping foul on Dante Walker. That's his second.
Redford foul, 20, Dante Walker, his second 13 foul.
Draymond Green will trigger the inbound pass. It's poked loose. Good defensive play. Now Harris takes it right inside. Not afraid, but a traveling violation against Manny Harris.
Here you see the defensive attention being applied right there. Tough to get the shot off for Harris.
4 straight turnovers now. 2 by each squad. Each after a steal. Robert Clark will inbound for the Trojans. They feed Green. Spins on Harris. Got it.
That's the Zach Randolph part of this game you were talking about. Big fella knowing how to use that body in the post. Protected the ball extremely well.
Tyson out of control. Got it. But a blocking foul called before the shot.
Oh, give it to him. Give him the bucket. Here's Tyson on the attack. Right there the foul occurs, and the correct call by the official. I mean, it was before the shot. They'll get a couple.
Tyson logged 31 hard-working minutes against Warren De La Salle yesterday. Missed the front end. Couldn't pick up the rebound. Harris is back for the 2-on-1. He was up in the air and was forced to foul Daniel West.
Redford foul, Harris, his first, 14th foul.
You know, if you're Redford, you're going to lament the fact that you were able to get to the line consistently in the third quarter, but you were not able to hit the free throws. This could be a much tighter game. They're down 12, threatening to fall down even more, but not being able to hit those free throws is something that they're truly going to regret.
For Saginaw, 54, Deontay Wesley, and 40, Pat Jones.
Good substitution right here for Lou Dawkins. He'll sit his 2 big fellas down with 36 seconds remaining in the quarter. West still looking for his first points, but does have 6 helpers. And there's his first point. 51-38 Saginaw. Tyson penetrates, tried to reach Charles Winston. He was knocked away from behind. Redford's gone to the line an awful lot here tonight. As they sneak inside but can't convert. Trojans back the other way, knock away. West. The 3-ball from Deontay Wesley is through.
Are you kidding me?
He has 9. That might be his first of the year. A traveling violation against Jerome Tyson in the backcourt.
I don't know if it was the shot clock or the game clock, that is, winding down, that made Wesley feel good about hoisting that, but he certainly did it like he was accustomed. No hesitation. Big fella in, drains a quick three. Gets a lot of hugs over there as he exits with 2.7 to go in this quarter.
With 2.7, they can get a shot away. No, they can't. But Saginaw ends the third quarter on a 9-0 run. The latest from Deontay Wesley, the big fellow with his first triple of the day, 9th point of the matchup. Draymond Green leading the way for Saginaw, 20 points on the night so far, to 54-38 lead over Redford, who is now shooting 28.5%. The Trojans priding themselves on D and taking a key and a cue from Bobby Lewis.
We have one player, his name is Bobby Lewis. He's a defensive specialist. I mean, we feed off his defense. He come out playing hard. It would be wrong for us to just get out there and let him play hard and we let him down and just wait to shoot the ball. So, I mean, all 15, we help him with the defense. You know, we put him on the best player on the court. And, I mean, he shuts them down, you know, so, I mean, it just rolls over to the rest of the team.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job with it. Bobby Lewis, 13 points, all 13 points coming in the first half. They haven't needed him a whole lot in the second half. And what they've done to Redford only 3 of 12 so far in the second half. An amazing job defensively for the Trojans. Tyson for 3, couldn't hit it, and another rebound inside.
Redford coming with their own brand of pressure. Saginaw, multiple players that can handle the ball and bring it up to break that pressure, including the big fella right there.
Green unfazed to Southern. They've got a couple of jitterbugs on him, and he takes advantage with an and-one coming.
See, Matt, that's what I'm talking about right there. You're Saginaw, you get the ball over half court, so you beat the timeline. Now you settle into your half-court offense and you run it to get the best shot. You don't run it just to get any shot, and that's what Redford has been sort of guilty of at times in this game. That is the way I think you attack pressure. Under control and on your terms.
Remember, they got to within 5, did the Huskies. And the Trojans have pushed right back. A 12-0 run for Saginaw. They lead 57-38.
Now I think it's time for Mr. Basketball, Manny Harris, to take over. You know, he's been dishing out, trying to get his teammates involved, but now if they're to have any chance, he's got to come to life.
Right on cue, partner. A blocking foul against Josh Southern.
He's got a quarter left in his high school career. He knows it. He wants this state championship. He is going to have to play better than he has played in this game up to this point, and he has played well in this game up to this point.
19 points in the first half, 23 on the night. Trying to become the first player in the history of the PSL to be named Mr. Basketball while leading his team to the city championship and a state championship. No one has ever done that. They've had opportunities, but have come up short. First free throw line miss for Manny Harris.
Look at the big fella against pressure.
Turned it over, though. Nice save by Harris. He'll streak up the right side. Tyson will give it to him. Harris leans in. Missed it. But 2 shots coming at the stripe.
Moving the ball after they force a turnover, and Harris, knowing he's going to get contact, made sure he got the whistle first. Nearly got a 3-point opportunity there.
Coaxes the first one in. Tomorrow it's time for spring training baseball with a rematch of last year's American League Divisional Series as the Tigers take on the Yankees from Lakeland, Florida. Trey Mario and Pemba and Ron Allen for all the action tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock right here on FSN Detroit. Oh, I hate the Yankees. Harris makes them both. 57-41.
Who else you hate? Bears?
Any team from Chicago?
Bulls?
Yep, can't stand them. Don't like the Celtics either. Southern, oh, what an alley-oop, but he couldn't convert. Great toss from Green at midcourt. Looked like a point guard more than anything else. A pull-up three, air ball. Daniel West tried to settle it down. It's stolen by Prince and his jersey grabbed for an intentional foul.
That could be big. That could be big. You get the 2 free throws and the basketball. You can change the complexion of this game, maybe steal some momentum. There's the grab. You can see it right there, right in front of the official. Well advised that time by Daniel West.
Almost untucked it. Good job right here by Lou Dawkins. Making sure that his floor leader is looking him square in the eye and explaining to him why that's not a good play when your club is up by 16. Prince converts the first. I asked DeMario Prince, what do you like best about your team? What do you guys like to do together besides just hang out? He says, we like to dance. That's what we enjoy the most. We all get together and we dance.
Hey, we showed you a young man earlier who enjoys chemistry. DeMario Prince, favorite subject? Biology. I did not care for biology. I wasn't big on science.
I'm not big into the science or the math, to be honest with you.
And there's a lot of guys who love math on this floor.
That's why we do what we do, maybe. See, but when we covered you, we had to be good at math because all those points you put up. That's why your number hangs from the Breslin Center rafters.
You're too generous.
Prince thought about the three. There's a 15-foot floor. It won't go down from Charles Winston. Leading the break. Oh, alley-oop. Nice opportunity and effort from Bobby Lewis. Saginaw gets another crack at it.
Hey, that pass was on the money, and it came from half court. Very accurate.
West is hacked. De Niro Cunningham picks up his first personal foul.
23, Cunningham is first.
There's my partner's number right there. Select Company here at Breslin Center. The team Cleve's the latest to go up there. And maybe the most dynamic and best duo in college basketball championship history right there. 32 and 33. A nice book out. Should have a statue outside the Breslin Center of 32. Southern inside, and he's hammered by Manny Harris.
It's getting a little tough in that paint. Coach Flowers told this team, hey, be tough, leave it on the floor. So they're not going to give up a layup that time. They'll put Southern on the free throw line.
But credit Josh Southern for not retaliating.
Oh, yeah.
Something there when it gets physical. He's a very humble and mild-mannered individual. But, boy, there's an awful lot of talent gushing from that 6'2", 245-pound frame, isn't there?
You know, Matt, I know both these coaches. They're both disciplined coaches. Their teams are under control, so you're not going to have any foolishness out here. I mean, they're playing the game. They're playing hard. Hard fouls are part of it.
You really don't get to this level by being a dumb basketball team.
Got that right. No, that will be exposed early, and you will be home watching.
17-point lead now for Saginaw. Tyson for three, short. Great save by Lewis. Washington in one motion to West. The trailer is Green. Down the middle of the lane with a finger roll, and one more comes.
That big fella can play, y'all. He can get it done. Look at this, under control, elevates before the defense can set. The nice touch on the finger roll, and he loves it. He'll get a chance for three. Just a junior.
Southern gets at the line.
Nicely done. Punishing.
And converts the three-point play. No wonder Tubby Smith wanted him at Kentucky, and will probably try and lure him to Minneapolis to play for the Gophers. Manny Harris with a lot of control. Southern triple teamed, and finally a reach-in foul called against Redford. Now, Josh Southern right now is doing a pretty mature thing. He's talking to one of the referees, and he's telling him, hey, listen, I don't want to throw my elbows, but they're all over me. You got to call it sooner.
1,
2, and 3. Timeout on the floor with 5:17 remaining. Saginaw with their biggest lead of the night. It's 20, and they're closing in on a state title. We've seen two of the best players in the state perform on this stage right now, and Draymond Green and Saginaw lead by 20. The All-Stater, a special night and a special player for the Trojans.
His unique talents. You know, he's a gifted young man. You know, with him out top with the basketball, he can see basically everything. With us having Big Josh Southern down there and Deontay Wesley and Robert Clark, he gets to utilize more of his own talent with him seeing the floor. As you notice, he has tremendous passing ability. And it makes him a much better basketball player, and that's a much great basketball team.
How good has Draymond Green been tonight? 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal in 25 minutes. Impressive stat line.
He can fill a stat sheet. Speaks to his all-around ability. Some guys give you points. Some guys give you rebounds. Some guys give you defense, leadership, whatever. It's a rare guy that can give you everything.
Meanwhile, Josh Southern has given the Trojans a double-double. 11 points, 15 caroms.
He can play on my team.
Absolutely. Very coachable kid, too, and that might be the best thing about him. Harris is fouled by Lewis. Manny Harris has 26 of Redford's 42 points. And so far tonight, Mr. Basketball is 13 of 14 at the stripe.
Problem for Harris today, the fact that, you know, his points, he's had to really work for them. He's got 5 turnovers because he has been constantly hounded by multiple defenders. So you really have to give him credit and commend him for his ability to score with all of that defensive pressure being put on him. But he has not had an easy go of it.
He's going to have to get used to that if he's going to play in the Big Ten. 63-44. The lead is 19, a near steal. Redford has now gone without a field goal for 4.5 minutes. You talked about Saginaw's defense at the outset, Greg, and that's been the key. Timeout, Saginaw, because they couldn't inbound.
Saginaw, Trojan timeout. 30-second timeout.
5:09 left. Don't forget, the Class B state championship game is next, and it'll be either Country Day winning their 7th or East Grand Rapids their 1st since 1950. They won the Class C championship during that season. If you miss any of today's championship action, you can get all the details tonight on a special edition of the Detroit Sports Report. It's DSR Basketball Finals Recap tonight at 10, immediately following the Class B title contest right here on FSN Detroit. John Keating and Tim McCormick in the first couple of games. Our partner Greg Kelser and me, Matt Shepard, here in this one in Class B. Shireen Saskia has been here for all 3 and will be here for the nightcap as well. We've got an exciting day and night of high school basketball in the great state of Michigan. Wraparound reach-in foul on Redford.
Well, Redford now has to gamble. I mean, this will be a comeback of colossal proportions if they could make it happen. But in order to make it happen, they've got to gamble, they've got to pressure, and they've got to start knocking down some shots. They have been devoid of field goals for quite some while, as you just noted, Matt.
Well, this is really tough for the team that's on the downside of this 20-point game right now to try and stay focused and play hard throughout, because you know your season's coming to an end. For some, their basketball careers, and you're not able to achieve what you had hoped for. It's tough to play it out, isn't it?
Well, it's tough to play it out, but you know, this is what you have to do. There's time on the clock. You play to the end.
West, pretty finger roll, 4 straight points for Daniel West. 67-44. Harris had it poked away by Southern. He's got Green streaking up the court. West for Washington in the corner. An open 3 look. Calhoun. Tyson with a spin move. Tough shot.
Wasn't ever on the move. Swing to the side. No problem for him.
West will take it inside, lay it off the small square to roll off. Harris fouled him though. That shot by Tyson, by the way, snapped a long drought without a field goal for Redford.
See, unfortunately, time is becoming a factor. Time, in fact, is already a factor for Redford. But you know, the way Saginaw plays, which is attack, 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 regardless of the score, it is a style that would allow you to maybe get some turnovers and get back into this game. They're not looking to milk the clock or take the air out of the ball. But they've been playing so well doing what they do. You're talking about a huge challenge for Redford at this point.
West nails them both. It's now 69-46 Saginaw. Prince for 3. Nice shot.
3 for Mario Prince.
West at the other end. Green down the middle of the lane, had it knocked away. And then a reach-in foul will go against the Trojans. Washington will pick up the personal. That's Bruce Simmons right there behind Lou Dawkins. Simmons worked for General Motors in Saginaw, then transferred to Arlington, Texas because of a $25,000 a year bump. Well, during the time in which he left the program, his players kept calling him in the offseason and during the early part of this season, said, "We want you back. You mean a lot to us. We think it's going to be a special run." He came back, asked for a transfer, came back, was transferred to Flint, now works there, got the money recouped. And the day before they played Redford, the first game this season, was on the floor with his club after jumping off a plane from Texas. And he said to me earlier today, that's when I knew that we were going to have a special season after we beat Redford. And now we got him again here today. And boy, what a special night it's been for the Trojans, huh?
It's a heck of a story there. And I'm not just talking about the part where he got to keep the money.
For most people, that's the most important thing. I'm glad he got it. That's why he's got those good-looking suits on the sideline. Southern to West. Thought about the 3. Good decision there, huh?
Their ball movement has been impeccable. And there's Southern out front helping. He is not turnover prone. Big fella with strong hands. He doesn't try to do too much. I really, really like the play of Josh Southern.
Manny Harris has got his points. Most of them from the free throw line.
Wow, look at this.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Story of the game.
29 points outside the shaded area.
They came in knowing what they wanted to do and where they wanted to go, and they maintained that philosophy throughout the game. Never wavered far from it.
You know, that storyline just goes to show you, you can have a superstar, and that means a lot to your ball club, like Manny Harris for Detroit Redford and Draymond Green for Saginaw. But those accessories are pretty important too, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Green's got it, and Harris doesn't have quite as many.
Green's got a wonderful supporting cast. You talk about Bobby Lewis, who's a defensive specialist, who was a leading scorer at halftime. Josh Southern, who's a reliable safety valve. You can get it to him when you're in trouble. He goes to the offensive glass quite well. Everybody doing their part. West and Green handling the ball.
Yeah, Daniel West has done a nice job distributing the basketball. Trojans have pretty much dominated from the get-go. Tyson from deep. Too much. Easy left-handed lane there for Dante Walker. foul by Demario Prince.
Redford foul. Mario Prince, 11, his fourth.
So Draymond Green at the free throw line to pad those gaudy stats.
Green gets 2 shots on the double bonus.
Makes the first. Told us yesterday he wants to be the best player in the state of Michigan next year. This is a pretty good jumping off point, isn't it?
It's well on his way.
.25 tonight for Draymond Green. Prince so quick. Nice move. Couldn't get it to go home. Gets it back though. And Southern knocked it away.
You know, Matt, last night I was in San Antonio with the Pistons, got a chance to see Tim Duncan play. They call him the big fundamental because everything he does is so sound. Not real flamboyant, not flashy, but deadly. I'm not making the comparison, but on the high school level, you could say the same thing about Draymond Green. Not flashy, but very sound fundamentally, passes well, rebounds the ball, gets his teammates involved, can stroke it ins and out. He is an all-around, very, very good player, still improving.
Here's what I like about him, too. He doesn't try to go outside his abilities, doesn't try to do too much. He pretty much stays within what his coach asks him to do, and he asks him to do an awful lot. Demario Prince is fouled out with a half dozen. It's been a nice run, though, for Ken Flowers' club. 2 straight regional titles. Flowers, of course, as my partner mentioned earlier, played at Redford for Derek McDowell, who's now the assistant coach at Eastern Michigan.
He's in his second year, and Redford's going to be around. So there will be more opportunities for Ken Flowers.
Harris inside, had it swatted away by Green. Tyson had it blocked by Southern. And Green with another rebound. Hit the bottom of the backboard. Tyson fell down and was fouled.
Saginaw foul 52, Southern, his fourth. Tyson at the line gets 2.
Another miss for Redford at the stripe. .21 lead now for the Trojans. Redford is 24 of 32 from the stripe tonight. It's a lot of free throw attempts, but too many misses for their liking. Green, great touch pass to Southern, who stuffed it down.
The pass was great. The catch was even better. Shows the hands that Josh Southern has.
Tyson for 3. And last touch by Redford.
Look at this. This pass is going to have something on it. I mean, it was zipped over there, but the hands were ready for Southern, and he's able to jump twice on the catch and on the finish.
And look at the smile from Draymond Green. It's not just because of the dunk, it's because he knows they're ready to close it out.
Got 9 assists in this game.
Wow.
He's not far from a triple-double, short by the rebounds, but heck of a game for Green.
No doubt. West to Green. This could be number 10. Washington can't fulfill it, but Green is there for another 2 points.
And a rebound.
There's a lot of things to say about Draymond Green, and a lot of schools will be knocking on his door. That's for sure. Harris. And one coming. Lou Dawkins will bring his starting unit off the floor.
Well, at the beginning they were saying game time. What time is it? Game time. Well, now it's winning time. Hugs aplenty. Mission accomplished. No feeling better than that when you know you got it in the bag, man.
Nothing like winning, is there? As my father used to say, you play to have fun, but it's a heck of a lot more fun winning than it is losing. Manny Harris gets the first one to drop. (79-57) in Saginaw now, as we approach the minute mark, celebrates the Class A title. It's going to be a fun little commute back to Saginaw, isn't it? Turnover Trojans. Oh, they'll switch it back and give possession to Saginaw. This is John Edwards, junior point guard. Jamario Wilson missed the three. Redford will keep it with 25 seconds remaining. Redford denied their goal, but fought valiantly all tournament long. And a traveling violation. Manny Harris will close out his high school career with a 31-point, 10-rebound performance. Right at his average. But he will finish as a runner-up in the Class A state championship game. The difference between Saginaw and Detroit Redford is 22. And for the first time since 1996, Saginaw High School grabs the state championship trophy. Trojans win it. It's the largest margin of victory in a Class A championship game since 1992. 79-57. When we come back, we hope to talk with Lou Dawkins and his outstanding all-state power forward, Draymond Green, as the Trojans taste sweet victory. The 25th win for Saginaw this season, their biggest and best. And to celebrate with the state champions is Shireen Saski with head coach Lou Dawkins. Shireen?
Thanks, Matt. And with Coach Dawkins, his daughter Haley, to help celebrate the championship. Coach, congratulations. How do you put this in perspective?
It's the excitement. It's overwhelming. The way my boys been playing all year long, and for them to keep it up for 2 consecutive days, they played outstanding. I took my hat off to each and every one of them.
How special is this bunch?
It's outstanding. When I came here as a player, we didn't do too good. Came here with Coach Marshall Chalmers, didn't do good. Excuse me. And came here my first year, and this year, this was our mission. We conquered everything. Our conference played outstanding all year, and the most important thing, the state championship.
Well, you guys win a state title for the first time since Marshall Thomas was the head coach. Back in '96, they won the title. It's got to be nice to add to the collection.
Oh, yeah. traditionally, we love basketball in the city of Saginaw. We've had tremendous players, tremendous stars. And, you know, little kids grow up wanting to put on that black and gold jersey. And with what these young men did this year, the injuries and the sickness that we went through, and for us to come up to I-69 and win the state championship is glorifying.
Well, congratulations, Coach. Go enjoy your victory.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Matt?
All right, Shireen, thank you very much. Greg Kelser, his club shot 51% from the floor. He got an unbelievable effort from Draymond Green, 27 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. And Josh Southern, the other big guy inside, a double-double with 15 points and 15 rebounds. They're tough to stop inside.
Well, they had some guys with some eye-popping numbers and performances, especially Draymond Green. But this was a team victory, and they did it their way with their defense.
Speaking of Draymond Green, he's now joined Shireen Saski. Shireen?
Thanks, Matt. Well, Draymond, congratulations. The state title is now yours.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's a great feeling. You know, I've been dreaming this since a child. I played AAU with Coach Dawkins. He told us we would win a state championship when we get to Saginaw High. We got here and we did it. But it was all because of hard work.
Was there ever a time that you doubted him when he said one day you will win a state title?
Oh, no, it was never a time because I always knew we had the talent in Saginaw to do it. Arthur Hill won it last year. We coming this year, and we coming back again next year.
Josh Southern talked to me about the swagger you guys wanted to have this season. It sure seems like you did.
Oh, Coach told us just come out. We the best front court in the nation. And can't nobody mess with us. So he just goes to come out and play, and we did that.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy the title.
Thank you.
Matt?
You know, Greg, they say your best players are supposed to play best during the biggest games, and I don't think Saginaw can doubt what their best player did tonight.
He was phenomenal. And the rebounding prowess that they showed, and the fact that they scored so much in the paint. They were under control, clearly a well-coached basketball team, poised, discipline, all of those things, and they deserve this championship.
And what a game from Manny Harris, the Mr. Basketball, who might have struggled a little bit against that zone defense yesterday in the semis against Warren De La Salle, came through tonight. The reason that Redford even posed a minor threat with 31 points and 10 boards.
Yeah, he was impressive, and Michigan's getting a good basketball player, a great shooter, and can get shots for himself. He'll have more help at the next level, and the future is very bright for him.
Yeah, you can tell he can get to the line, too. 16 of 17 from the free throw line. But the difference in this game here tonight, there's no doubt about it, and Greg touched on it at the very outset, is you see Lou Dawkins hug Marshall Thomas right there, was the defense implemented by the Trojans. They limited Redford to 28% shooting, just 7 field goals made in the first half, 7 field goals made in the second half. They rely on their defense, and you can understand why.
Well, they came in telling you what we're going to do. We're going to bring the pressure. We're going to press you. We're going to challenge you. Can you handle it? Well, obviously, few teams could this year.
Yep, especially Redford, who had 18 turnovers on the night. So for the 4th time in school history, the Trojans of Saginaw are champions. Our next game is at 8 o'clock with the Class B final featuring Country Day taking on East Grand Rapids. Now for Greg Kelser, Shireen Saski, our producer Mike Cadino, and our director Jeff Mitchell. My name is Matt Shepard saying so long from the Breslin Center. The final score in the Class A title game reads Saginaw High 79, Redford 57. You've been watching high school basketball on FSN Detroit. You'll see a recap of all the day's championship action on the special edition of DSR. Goodbye for now from East Lansing.
Josh Southern.